So here's the thing. Heading into today, I was fully thinking, oh yeah, we can have a commentary about Elias Pettersson or something. Craig Button said some pretty interesting things on television the other day, talking about how Petey could be a buyout candidate. And I was like, ooh, yeah, that's really juicy. So heading into Friday, we could probably talk about that then, right? But then yesterday's game happened, and I was like, Elias Pettersson actually played pretty well. And not only was he on the score sheet, he had himself an assist, nice, but he also was one of the primary catalysts for that assist to go on the board. And honestly speaking, Elias Pettersson against Dallas, he could have had a few more points if some of these guys just finished a little bit better. Never mind the fact that you had some other standout things to talk about from yesterday's game, like Abbotsford's first line going out there and legitimately providing NHL value in Sasson, Baines, and Carlson. Those guys had a 90-something% Corsi, which is ridiculous. But I wanted to talk about Elias Pettersson, and a comment that was posted on the Canucks subreddit that asks a very simple question. With the lines shuffling around the way that they were yesterday, who did you like more with Elias Pettersson and Garland? Drew O'Connor or Evander Kane? Just curious on what everyone's thoughts were. This is at 6 upvotes. Nobody's really upvoting it, but there are a lot of comments going out there and replying. And when it comes to my thoughts, I just wanted to go out there and talk about this myself here because I thought it was quite interesting. Elias Pettersson's a really intriguing player because I think a lot of the quote-unquote play-driving ability that we saw that he had with Andrei Kuzmenko in the Bruce Boudreau year, it's not really there anymore. And I think a lot of that has to do with his mentality. Doesn't look like he's activating as hard as he was back in the day, and it doesn't look like he's been confident enough to put himself in those positions to push and go forward. And when he has the puck, he's gonna do everything he can to make the pass or make the beautiful play. Like, he'll tense up a little bit nowadays. That's kind of what we've seen over the past 21 months or so of Elias Pettersson hockey. And because that side of him has unfortunately gone away, or let's just say been reduced, not gone away entirely, maybe there are flashes that you'll see once in a while, because he's changed. I think you have to change the way you think about this guy from a coaching perspective. Change the way that you deploy him and change the players that you surround him with. This is why Elias Pettersson with Jake DeBrusk and Brock Besser was such a problem, because when you think about Brusk and DeBesser, oh my goodness, Brusk and DeBesser, DeBrusk and Besser, when you think about those two guys, you don't necessarily think play-activating, play-driving winger. You think these are the guys that the play-driving players send the puck to finish the play. Brock Besser was such a good finisher alongside of JT Miller. Jake DeBrusk was doing similar things in Boston when he had guys like David Krejci feeding him the puck. Elias Pettersson is supposed to be able to do that because he's an $11.6 million caliber player, but he just doesn't do that anymore. And I think for Elias Pettersson, I personally am beyond the thought of just saying, oh yeah, well, he's supposed to be able to do it, so if he doesn't do it, then we're just crap out of luck. Keep on playing him with the same guys and have it not work out and just wait for him to get better. I think I'm past that point, and I think I'd prefer to have a little more leniency and just say, all right, well, if you can't move the puck around, if you're getting a little tentative, if you're not moving the puck as much as you could, then surround Pettersson with players that can do that. And that's why Conor Garland was a really nice fit alongside of Petey in yesterday's game. Add on the fact that you have Drew O'Connor as a Conor Garland line mate from Team USA at the World Championships, and there's a little bit of chemistry that you can say exists with the players on that line. Now here's the thing. Evander Kane was also placed in there a little bit. Not for the entire game, but he was there. And Kane had himself a really interesting night yesterday too, because he didn't particularly play amazingly, but he played really well in certain areas that you cannot ignore the impact he had. Here's the game scorecard from yesterday's Canucks versus Dallas win, and you'll see that Evander Kane was the second most productive Vancouver Canuck in terms of individual and team offense above average. But he had terrible defensive numbers, which is why he's listed in the middle there. He was so impactful in both ways, offensively and defensively. And it really goes to show that this guy, I mean, he was an NHL superstar for a good chunk of his career. There's a reason why this guy's able to do the things that he does, and it's why he's making the money that he makes. It's why the Vancouver Canucks traded for him, despite the fact that many Canucks fans were really against the trade. He has skill, and maybe he's not the best at using it all the time. Maybe the circumstances of the game cause him to take an irresponsible penalty, or maybe he makes a bad play or a bad read, or he shoots the puck and it goes wide and it deflects back into his own zone, or he ends up making a terrible drop pass back to his own zone in general. Like, that happens. It's not uncommon with Evander Kane, as we have seen in these opening few games, but he still has skill. He still has an ability to make things work. And I do question if having Kane with Garland and Elias Pettersson is essentially what might be the best combo for that top line. Evander Kane was acquired to be goal-scoring support for Vancouver, not to be a bottom six player. Drew O'Connor is a bottom six player, and he's fast. He's a guy that can really go out there and dig the puck and free it open to Elias Pettersson and Conor Garland. But the problem I found with Drew O'Connor is that he just doesn't really have that playmaking edge that you want to see out of a first-line caliber player. I mean, he's a fourth liner playing on the first line. Of course, you can be disappointed with the value he brings, but especially yesterday, there were a lot of plays where Elias Pettersson set it up and O'Connor had a look or O'Connor had a play, but instead of making the right play or getting the goal or whatever, he ends up making a fumble and it doesn't go through. Like, he isn't really the best first liner. And even though he does provide a lot of pace to that line, I question whether or not that's more valuable than the legitimate puck skills that Evander Kane can bring, like we saw yesterday when he made a really nice flip pass out to Filip Chytil to get Vancouver's first goal of the night. If it were up to me, I'd say that Evander Kane is a little bit better on that first line with Petey and Garland versus Drew O'Connor. But of course, we will see what happens heading into today's game against the Chicago Blackhawks. And I guess the biggest question for me is, hey, what happens when Nils Höglander comes back? What happens to that fourth line? I really like that fourth line. Baines, Carlson, and Sasson, they're awesome together. So I wonder who exits the lineup once the Big Hog returns to the lineup. Asking all the important questions here on the Lego Rocks 99 show, aren't we? If you enjoyed this video, feel free to leave a like. If you didn't, then hey, the dislike button's down there for you as well. Comments help out with the algorithm, so I'd appreciate it if you got involved there. And let me know what your thoughts were on the way the lines were deployed yesterday. I just wanted to go off of this prompt, the Drew O'Connor versus Evander Kane conversation. Conor Garland and Petey, I love them together. Keep them together. Have Chytil with Besser and DeBrusk down there on the second line. Looked pretty good in my opinion too, so I wouldn't really suggest moving things around, with the exception of maybe Evander Kane or Drew O'Connor. You could swap out either of those guys. There's a lot to like, but what do you prefer more? Let me know in the comment section all your opinions. I hope you enjoyed this video. 9, and bye.